play baseball can be a turning point in a young person's life. Only a handful of players will have the kind of talent and drive that will give them the opportunity to play the game of baseball professionally. The biggest benefit, though, is becoming a part of a team and working to improve one's skills. This will provide lessons that will pay off throughout a lifetime. America's Pastime teaches teamwork, perseverance, work ethic, and maintaining a positive attitude throughout. Skills that are taught by Eagle Pass's very own head coach, Mendoza. Today, we take a look at the Eagle Pass Eagles and introduce you to Reynold Mendoza. I'm Melissa Grukowski, and this is the Eagle Pass Coaches Corner. Welcome Eagle Pass community. We're here with Reynold Mendoza, head coach for the Eagle Pass Eagles varsity baseball team, to give us some insight on the baseball team and this season. Welcome, Coach Mendoza.
Oh, thanks for having me, Melissa.
So we want some insight on the baseball season. We're excited. Baseball season's already geared up. Tournaments are in place. Just give us some insight on your coaching strategy and also on this year's season. As a coach, what do you bring to the table? What sort of experience have you had or background in baseball?
Well, baseball has been in my life, since I was a little boy, since I was 5 years old. I've coached in the minor leagues. I played in the minor leagues. I got drafted by the Florida Marlins in 1992. Played college baseball. I've been coaching for 11 years in high school now, so I have the backgrounds there. My family, my whole life revolves around baseball. So there's a lot of background in baseball for me.
Coach Reynold Mendoza knows a thing or two about baseball. He's been playing it his entire life. He played baseball at Taft High School in San Antonio, Texas for 3 years, freshman year through junior year, but returned back to his roots in Eagle Pass, Texas, and played for the varsity Eagle baseball team. He then earned a scholarship to go to Laredo Junior College, but took a different route, following the love of his life to Incarnate Word. He now claims it was the smartest decision he ever made. He walked on the team at Incarnate Word and later got a scholarship to the school. He played for 3 years, and in 1992, he got drafted by the Florida Marlins in the 7th round in the first ever draft that the Marlins had. He played 7 years in the minor leagues, from A-ball to AAA. He also played a small stint internationally in Puerto Rico. He's been coaching since 2003 and is now in his 11th year of coaching varsity baseball. So what is something that you feel you've learned as a player that you've pushed hard and emphasized now as a coach? I mean, all that experience with playing baseball, what is the one thing that you feel like that you picked up on and now are pushing as the coach of the head varsity baseball team?
Well, the one thing that I bring to these kids and that I want these guys to experience and learn is the hard work. Whatever you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. If you don't work hard, if you don't put in extra time, you're not dedicated, you don't have the discipline, then don't expect to do well either. The way I learned when I was a player is I worked hard, I did my best, and then I let it all happen between the lines, and whatever happened outside the lines, I didn't let it affect my game. And at the end of the day, which is at the end of my career, I can look back and say that what I did it the best way that I could, and whatever I got out of it is what I deserved, or what was destined to happen to me. So I have no regrets. Like, I never made it to the big leagues, played in the minor leagues for 7 years, but everything that I did it with the intention of making it to the big leagues. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. I had shoulder surgery, and I didn't get to be there. But I want these guys, our players, to have that same learning experience, that the more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. And for some reason, you don't get that college scholarship, you don't get to play professional baseball, or you don't get to advance to the next level, then look back and say you did everything you could to make it happen. And if you didn't, well, then that's just the way life is. You got to move on.
That's an awesome motto. Like, that's a really great thing to learn from. But tell me more about these guys. Who are our starters? Who are our returning starters that are coming back to this year's baseball season?
Yeah, we have about 6 returning starters and a transfer. Eric Gonzalez at shortstop, R.J. Ruiz at second base, Diego Gaona at catcher, Kevin Chisholm center field, Jacob Royce in right field, Mando Lopez at third base, and our transfer, Carlos Barrera, he'll be a first base DH. And our pitchers are going to be Chris Perez, he's a returner also, and Tony Galvan, Isaac Ramirez, Carlos Barrera also. We have a lot of kids that are returning that are going to help out the team a lot.
Excellent. And speaking of that, most improved from last year. Who are the players that it was like an aha wow moment that you thought, man, you have improved from one season to the other? Who would you say that was if you had to pinpoint them?
Well, the good thing about this group of kids that I have right now, I have like 10 seniors, and they've been with the program for 3 years already. This is their 4th year. I've seen these kids, and I've known them. I know their families, I know their parents, and I know them. I've seen them grow up playing baseball in Little League, in Babe Ruth and all that. And the one kid that stands out to me as most improved from last year is Chris Perez, is our pitcher. We're gonna count on him. We're gonna rely on him, and he's got the stuff that it takes to win games and to dominate other teams. He's gotta focus and put it together, and once he does that, then he's definitely going to be the guy that carries us this year.
That's awesome. What teams, in our district are the powerhouse teams, and how do you see Eagle Pass matching up with them?
Well, with the powerhouse teams in our district, without a doubt, we have Alexander and United. All of us are ranked in the top 25 in Texas high school baseball. Alexander's ranked 4th, we're ranked 10th, and United is ranked 18th. To have that many teams ranked in the top 25 in the state, or the top 20, that's a tough district.
Yeah.
That's a very tough district. So, what I do to prepare our kids is we go to tournaments and we play tough teams. You look at our schedule, we're playing teams that are ranked, teams that make the playoffs every year. They have a tradition of being a good teams year in, year out. Those are the teams we want to play. So when we come face these teams here in district, we're ready for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to help us with character. It's going to help us with situations that are going to be tough during games. It's going to help us with who makes a mistake first, who's going to lose or win the game, and that's the role we take. We don't go to tournaments. I don't schedule games against teams that I know we can beat because just to get the win. No, I want to play teams that are going to compete against us, that are going to make us work, that are going to make us better. So when the district starts, then we're ready for those teams that are ranked in the state.
Yeah, all of that growth that you're picking up from them. Can you tell me about your defense up the middle?
Up the middle, we got the strongest defense that I've ever had. Our catcher, Diego Gaona, he's an all-state MVP, all-state and all-district catcher. And then we got Chris Perez on the mound, who's going to carry us. And we got R.J. Ruiz and Eric Gonzalez at second and short. Those guys are all district players as well. Then we got Kevin Chisholm in the middle, in center field. So up the middle is your catcher, your pitcher, your second baseman, your shortstop, and your center fielder. And we got nothing but seniors. Wow. And the expectations are really high for them.
Yeah.
So they got to produce and get after it so that we can have a successful season.
Now, you talked about all this growth, especially with going to the tournaments and learning from tough teams. That way you can come back and be ready to be competitive. But I'm pretty sure I've heard that, especially with players, since you played in the minor league, there's a bit of, you can have as much experience and as much practice as possible, but there's a bit of some superstition going on. Is there anything that you feel like as a player that you were suspicious or superstitious about that now you've brought as a coach? Is there anything that you all are superstitious on, or something that you practice?
The one thing that I've always been superstitious with is gloating. I don't feel that we need to be arrogant or cocky. Let's just take care of business.
Sure.
The business way. Some kids, they like to be flashy. They like to, talk a big game, and then when the time comes, baseball is a humbling game, and if you think you're bigger than the game, then baseball will humble you quick. And my biggest superstition is that just go take care of business one day at a time, one game at a time. Like I told my boys when we were playing the games, one at a time. We do everything one thing at a time, and that's the one thing that I don't like, that I'm superstitious with. So a lot of these kids, they have the superstitions that they have to wear the same cap. Some kids wear the same socks, the same undershirt. I know one of my coaches has a T-shirt from back in the day when we started in 2003. He still has it. And he wears that under every game, for every game. So there's things like that, but the biggest thing is that you have a level head and take care of business, and let your actions speak for themselves on the field.
Absolutely. And you know what? You said something right now about baseball being a humbling game. I mean, it'll humble you real quick. But what do you do to level these kids out? Like if they're having a bad streak, or on the contrary, if they're having a hot streak, how do you keep them on it? Well, it's got to be hard as a coach.
It is, but the coaches that I have, Coach Henry Silva and Coach Eddie Royce, they've been with me since the beginning. They're on their 11th year too. So they know the program, they know what we do, they know my mentality, my philosophy. And our philosophy is we play the game hard, we play it right, we get after it, and the results will take care of themselves. If you divert from not playing the game the correct way and not doing what you're supposed to do in the situations during the game, then those things are going to come back and bite you, and then you're going to end up losing games or making mistakes. So our mentality is do things right, and things will take care of themselves. These kids that get big heads and they think they're all state and they think they're all district or they're all stars in the summer. We don't push them to get bigger heads. The game itself will humble you. These kids, everybody struggles. Everybody knows. Well, if you know the game of baseball, you know that baseball is a game of failure. You're gonna fail more times than you are gonna be successful. So if you can handle that, then you'll be fine. But if you can't, that's the hard part. Having to get those kids, get them back up to where they need to perform, so that they don't get too down on themselves, and then they get lost.
Man, I'd imagine that would build true character and leadership from these kids, because you're having to basically, you said it right there, baseball is a game of failure. You're going to do, batting averages and stuff like that. It's difficult to come back from that stuff, but I think that you're doing an excellent job. I'd like for you at this point to tell the community, invite them out, tell them all about our program, tell them about how special it would be for them to join us during the games. Message to them.
The biggest thing is that last year was an awesome ride. We made it all the way to the 5th round, and we had a lot of support at the end, which was awesome and phenomenal to see. We ask you guys to come out early and watch us play in these district games. They're going to start March 13th, and we need your support. The kids deserve it. They've earned everything they have right now, and it's going to be a good season for us again. And with your support, it'll be even better.
Thank you for joining us. We were here with head coach of the Eagles varsity baseball team, Reynold Mendoza. We'll see you soon.